Hey everybody, time for step 2 for making your sourdough bread. We actually are going to have a lot of different steps today. I'm going to have multiple videos posted and I'm going to just clearly outline what steps we're going to be doing for each of them. What we're going to have to start with, I've got a lot of different tools again. I've got my scale, I've got water, I have my bread flour, I also have rye flour. My rye flour actually made in my Vitamix with rye berries. I don't expect you to do this, but maybe later. I've got salt. I've got my dough hooks again. This time I'm going to be using the pigtail from the KitchenAid. I have my dough scraper. For later today, I have my bannetons. If you don't have bannetons yet, you can use just a regular bowl with a well-floured surface. And then, of course, I've got my levain, which we built yesterday. So the first step is to take the levain, and hopefully yours is starting to look something like this. So it's gotten a lot gooier. You see a lot of bubbles in here. If you smell it, it actually has a bit of a sour odor to it. It actually smells pretty good. And what we're going to do is what's called the Autolyse step. So what this is essentially is just mixing water and flour together, and you're letting it rest. And what that allows the water and flour to do is essentially the flour absorbs the water and it makes the rest of the process a lot better. I'm not sure of all the science behind it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on the scale, and in the recipe book I'm now going to the final dough, and what it tells me is I'm going to put in 14.8 ounces of water. So I take my water and I start pouring it in. Again, the more exact, the better. All right, 14.8 ounces of water. Now I'm going to take 3.2 ounces of the whole rye flour. So I'm going to zero out my scale again. Okay, once you get to 3.2 ounces of your rye flour, you're now going to put in 1.8 ounces or 24 ounces of bread flour. Again, hopefully it makes sense now why to do the scale as a measurement, just given that flour compresses and measuring with a scale is a lot easier and a lot more accurate. I went a little bit over. Fortunately, adding the flour last allows you to easily take out the excess. And 24 ounces. Now, according to the recipe, it says add all the ingredients into the bowl, including the levain, but not the salt. The reason for that is that we're going to, again, allow it to autolyze for about 20 to 60 minutes. And then at the end of that process, we're then going to add in the salt and do the final mixing. So I now take all of this, put it onto my KitchenAid. This time I'm using the pigtail. If you have a smaller KitchenAid, you might have a C-hook. Either one will work. And you put it on. And what you're going to do is only mix it until it's all combined. So you're not going to actually start kneading the dough. You're just going to mix it until all of the levain, flour, and water is combined. and we're done. And the way that I would describe what this looks like, I'll show you in a second. It's kind of a shaggy mass, I think is the word that they use to define it. So if you look at it, again, it doesn't really look like dough. All you've really done is combine the water and the flour. Again, I'm going to use the dough scraper. I'm going to try and get as much of the dough off of your hook. And I'm going to scrape the sides of the bowl, get all the flour. And that's it. So we're gonna let this sit covered. The official timing is 20 minutes to an hour. I think I'm probably gonna be closer to the hour. And then when we come back, we're gonna add the salt and do the final mixing, and then we'll do the next step. So I'll see you in about an hour.